It is Monday, June the 29th. It's the day after I saw Disclosure Day. I am watching Undeniable 14, What If Aliens Are Real? It features commentary I made in 2023 where I wonder about, because at that point in 2013, I still believe I'm just researching a movie. It's before I get sick again. It's before I hear the voice again. At this point, I truly believe I'm just working on a movie. And it's the same thing as Disclosure Day. So the way that I talk about disclosure happening is what happens in Disclosure Day. It is just a point of data. The movie was such a trip. I'm gonna have to I'm letting myself record because I'm disassociating and I'm just letting it happen. I am scared. But it's like stage fright. That's what I think this fear is. It's stage fright. It's almost go time. And no one is prepared at all. And the reason they're not prepared is they're just scared little children sitting in corners and shaking. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. When I watched Disclosure Day and Colin Firth's character, who looked very similar to what my husband looked like at the end of our marriage, the gray hair, beard, like literally, it was just, that was weird. But again, art is a mirror, so you see what you're looking for. And what I saw was a scared little child. They don't know what they're doing. They're causing so much chaos and harm because they're just scared little children with big weapons. I finally felt empathy for the dorks doing their bullshit. And I also felt rage. Because the one thing I don't think I've put on camera, and I do not think I've talked about it yet, but it's very, very clear in the written record, is that a group of someone from Detroit have been fucking with my head on the astral plane for years. Now, that device that's in that movie that allows them to do that, I drew that. In the 1980s, something very similar to that was used by the Nigerians to amplify their psychic abilities, which is a very interesting point of data. I am trying to remain objective and scientific, and we just can't at a certain point. Because I know that art is a mirror and I'm going to see what I'm looking for everywhere. But this feels, you need feedback. That's what I need. I need someone to wake the fuck up and help. It is Saturday, July the 4th, 2026. I have just learned that other people see a doctor. Saying that differently, I was on Reddit doing browsing and I saw someone had shared a post by Atlas of Mystery about John Mack, and the repeated experience of people seeing a figure they called the doctor or the leader. And again, I put out it's just weird, man, when you realize that the experiences you thought were uniquely your own are actually common and happen way more than you think. This is, again, how systemic racism is similar to alien encounters. I literally can't believe how common alien encounters are and how consistent they are. But I also understand fear. I understand what the wrong information can do to the wrong minds, because some people are just not capable of handling reality. There are people that struggle with the concept of trans people. Like, there are many Americans who struggle with the concept that your inside of your body might be different than the outside of your body. How are they going to deal with the fact that you might not need a body? Like, I understand why evidence has been hidden for so long. Truly do. Because some of it is terrifying, and fear can make people do horrible things. I also realize that there are people that are trying to make us afraid right now, and that the thing that is, oh, Jesus Christ, rambling. I'm rambling, but I'm going to let it flow, because this is, I guess, what I need to do. Just taking a voice note. It's just weird to see that my dreams may not be dreams, and that the things I took, anyway, I'm just recording points of data. I was today years old when I found out that John Mack talked about the doctor, and I really need to get to his book. And I really need to finish Chris Bledsoe's Stewardful of God. First, I'm going to finish episode 17 of Undeniable, which is about Disclosure Day. And then I will do episode 18 about the doctor. And then I've got some reading to do, I think. Part 4, Devil's Mountain only. Take 1. So I had a meeting with the university people today. They want me to speak at their event about what it's like to be a queer pop star. Like when I was, it made national. It did make national news. Am I kidding? Technically made international news when I came out in the 90s, because I was a pop star. And I was a kid star, I guess. And it made like a little bit of news, but it went away quickly because it was, I was Quebec famous. I'm not real famous. It's the thing though, I think I felt more famous in a way. I felt like, because people in a certain group knew who I was, I felt a little isolated. Like I felt like, it's comforting when you're surrounded by people that you admire and whose work you admire. I was doing work I liked doing while I was doing it. It didn't make me a lot of money, but I think people forget that. Right now, as I'm filming this, the writer's strike is going on in the United States. it's kind of bullshit. Like, all these big studio people that just don't want to pay writers. And, you know, it's part of the reason why I'm just doing stuff myself. Like, I'm kind of sick of, like, you know, the record company wants me to do something country because that's what's trending. I'm not going to I'm not going to do a country album. It's just not who I am. You know, and I'm too old to be a pop star anymore. I'm 51. I can't be a pop star. But fuck it. Who says I can't be a pop star at 51? Anyone can be a pop star, right? Like, I don't know. You know, I don't know if I've gone crazy. Like, how do you know? How do you know if you've gone crazy? Like, everyone, I have a group of people surrounding me that could be just yes-manning me. Like, Kanye West is surrounded by people that say he's fine. They have his people say he's fine. How do I know that I'm not crazy? Maybe working on music is maybe I should just give it up and get a day job. You know, I moved to Ontario for a reason. Train, sorry. I moved to Ontario for a reason. Nobody knows me here. I mean, my money spent's the same. But it's running out. I've seen all these movies, you know. In the movies, you're a retired pop star and then you live the rest of your life in wealth and you never have to worry about money again. It's just not the way the world works. I remember there's a band called 8 Seconds. They had a song called Kiss You When It's Dangerous. It was released around the same time that I was a kid star. So I was a kid, but I remember looking at the lead singer of that video. Again, he just looked like the dreamiest, sexiest human being ever born. And it was around that time, I was like, you know, I think I might be gay. Pretty sure I'm gay because I watched that video and he's like singing in the rain and kiss me when it's dangerous. I really wanted to kiss him when he was dangerous. But I think he ended up selling insurance. Yeah, I've never met him, but I remember looking at his Wikipedia page, and yeah, I think he ended up selling insurance. Because just because you make a little bit of money doesn't mean that you can live the rest of your life that way. Like, my shelves were filled with people who wrote books who had day jobs. Almost every creative person you know has a day job. But the people at the top, the executives, they don't have day jobs. That's fucked. That shouldn't be happening. And I think the reason why there's the writer's strike happening right now is it's time for us to take the power back. It's time for us to take the power back. And that's what I'm doing. I'm seizing. You know, I'm not used to thinking this way, though. I've been a people pleaser for too much of my life. It takes something to spend your entire childhood focused on being happy and making sure that others around you are happy. I didn't get to have a childhood, really. I didn't really have a childhood until I felt like in my 20s when I was really out and free. By then I wasn't famous anymore. You know, that was, oh, I'm gonna have to come up with names, aren't I? I'm gonna have to come up with names for these bands. Beast of Perversion. What's the French name for that? Beast of Perversion. That sounds like, that's actually one of the bands I wanted to have when I was a kid. When I used to make up ideas, I was obsessed with Al Jorgensen from Ministry and how he had all these different bands and every band had a different sound. And I was like, that's the best thing ever. I wanted to do that. So I wanted to have a pop group, sort of like New Order, and what was going to be called Jump Through Rockets. And then I was going to have an industrial band called Beasts of Perversion. Try to be en français. Oh, it's pretty easy actually. It's Les Bêtes de Perversion. That's another word for perversion. Yeah, the Beast of Perversion, Les Bêtes de Perversion. Which is funny because it was Bop. Les Bêtes de Perversion. Les Bêtes de Perversion. That was going to be my industrial group. And I wrote songs for them. Just never did anything with them. I just let them sit for like 20 years. So I'm thinking I have to create a little bit of music for that. And that'll be fun because I can just do little blips, like little 20-minute segments. I don't have to do a full song. I can do a couple of industrial songs, like Cowboy. I want to do that. But they'd have to put them in French. Actually, it'd be kind of fun, actually. Turn Cowboy into a French. Just translate the lyrics into French. So I was a boy band. In the boy band, Légion de Tomorrow's Youth. Let's see what I'm just looking for here. Diversity. Come on, pick up. So I'm thinking like something diversity. Jeunesse. Now, how about this? I could actually reference Mixmania and turn it into Manic Youth. So my the Jeunesse Maniac. Jeunesse Maniac. Jeunesse Maniac. That could be the magical Manic Youth. Jeunesse, Jeunesse Magique. That's actually magical use. That's actually meta and works perfectly. So the name of the group would be Magical Youth Jeunesse Magique. So yes, I was. I need to come up with a name. Maybe Philippe. No, I was going to. That's right, Miska. I was Miska, and I was in a band called Jeunesse Magique, French pop group. I am going to have to add in, I'm going to add a little thing about people singing, and that will be like, yeah, I can do that actually. Magical Youth. So the first group when I was a kid would be Jeunesse Magique, and then Les Bêtes de Perversion, Les Bêtes de Perversion, DOP would be the industrial group, which I can make it kind of like disturbed skinny puppy-ish, and now I'm trying to do something different because it just didn't work. And I'm just too old for that shit anymore. And I can put that in because again, I think the guy from Disturbed was saying that, and even Trent Reznor was talking about he can't do angsty stuff anymore. He's too old. But maybe I'm not ready to do that. I'm still full of angst, and I want to do a different album than the company wants, and that's why I'm doing it on my own. Because if I have to show them that I can do it on my own. And I'm thinking again, I kind of want to be the big bad. I kind of want to be maybe I'm the one I summon the fairy demon magic on purpose because I want. Maybe I could do that. This would be funny. Maybe I'm going to say that the reason I did it is when I get called on, it's like, you know what? I realized I didn't have the money for special effects, so I thought it'd be just much cheaper to actually. And then people can get angry. Like, seriously? You summoned demons because it was cheaper than special effects? I'm like, yes. I'm sorry. Just got out of hand. I think that, because that would be funny then. I think I'll do it two ways. I can film it that way, and then I might film it a different way. Maybe I could do something where I'm being interviewed. I could do that actually, where I can set up something where it looks like I'm being interviewed in a person's cell or something, or that's a pretty typical thing. But let's make it different. So I'm going to find out. So maybe we could try that. I'm being interviewed by, and it looks like I'm in jail, but it turns out I'm actually already in hell. So at the end, find out that I'm actually being interviewed in hell, and they're deciding if they should let me go back. And I can say, look, I think I've proven my point. Give me the power that you've promised. I can use it. Let me back into the world, and I will do what you want me to do. And again, the fairies can be the ones with the magical powers of creativity. So maybe that's what I can do. I've made a deal with the devil or the fairies to make myself famous again, but I need their help. And I've sacrificed my sacrifices for that. And it's like the meta part there would be, if you want to be truly a greater person, there are sacrifices you have to make, and sometimes you have to weed out your friends and family, which, not literally kill them, but that will be the meta part and the funny part of it. But again, I'm not sure if part of me wants to do it really scary though. I want to try to, like I put in that, I do what I want, but the thing about like summon the demons because it would be cheaper than special effects is, it's kind of a funny thing, and I kind of want to put it in there. If nothing else, maybe I can just do it as like a spoof afterwards. I'm having a weird, I would assume it's flashback memory that is completely crazy. I'm going to record and not judge. I am sitting in the backyard. I have just commented on Merritt Styles' post again. And I just had a flashback to being here at this table last summer. And I know it's impossible, but I remember a blue avian sitting down at the table next to me in the middle of the day. Like, that's not possible. And I think if that happened, I probably would remember, but I just, Jesus Christ. It's the thing about psychic experiences is they are completely, by default, subjective, and it is very difficult to know, what was that? Was that real? And I think maybe the more important question, instead of like, was that real? Like, was there really a blue alien here? Like, I don't know, and I could never prove that. But what I can say is, what did that experience just do to me? Like, just was sitting here at the table and had a clear memory of something that I don't remember. It came back to me in a flash. That seems impossible. I don't know. The important part there is maybe I just have to remember who I am. I think that's been the bullshit of the last couple of years is I forgot who I was. I forgot who I was. I've always been a leader. I have the ability to do what I say I'm going to do. I can do that. I'm just being... That was one ding for yes. I can do what I say I'm going to do. And all it will take is someone to have an ounce of courage. I'm really tired of being the smartest person in the room. I need to be in bigger rooms.
Out of this world and mystical experiences I had within this past 11 to 12 years, part 1. I want to start with the one that made me create the Bluebird. I've shared the story a couple times online already, but essentially a little under 4 years ago, I had 2 experiences within the span of about a month and a half where I encountered beings that were blue, radiating this kind of like light and dark blue color, and looked like birds. I made one out of clay. I'll put a photo of it on this if I found the photo.
Today is July the 14th. It is a Tuesday. This is ridiculous and about as close to confirmation as I can ever hope to get. This guy's name is Robin. He runs a facility called Bluebird Healing. I believe it's in Canada, out west. I watched a video today in which Robin describes an entity that I have seen. I've told no one about that. Robin describes it exactly. And it is not a typical sort of non-human entity. It's very, very specific. And the fact that I've seen this entity in dreams for a while and then physically a few weeks ago is that's the thing about doubt though, isn't it? Like there's always that part that says maybe I'm wrong, and I think that's what's holding me back. I think I really just have to go with it. I'm not going to get any more confirmation than this. It's a man I've never met, saw an entity similar to the one that I saw. He's building a facility similar to the one that I'm trying to build because the entities told him to. Like, I'm not going to get more confirmation than that. On the plus side, it makes things much easier for me because I can now show the local MPPs that there is a market for this here in Canada. It's not just Esalen in the States. Now, if things don't work out here, at least I know that there's other places in Canada that it can work. But I think this area, Windsor, needs a facility like this. I'm trying to build the labyrinth, and it looks like invisible hands are helping me network. Robin, I'll be in contact with you soon. I think we can help each other out. Undeniable. That's the name of this podcast. Undeniable. I've been looking for a title for a while, and it came to me today because of there's a Facebook group on Facebook called Doug Ford and the PC Party Must Go. I've been on there for a while, and I was talking with someone today, or chatting about, well, have you tried reaching out to these reporters? And I said, well, I have not reached out to those ones specifically, but I've reached out to their bosses, and I've tried. And she said, well, you should reach out to these ones. And as I was chatting with her about Unbelievable, the name for the new thing came out as Undeniable. Like at this point, The evidence is so clear, we need to stop denying its existence and just study it. Systemic racism and aliens. Like, it's just there's more than enough evidence that the phenomena, both of them, are real, and we need to deal with that. So, undeniable. So, for Therese, I'm assuming it's French, or Therese, thank you.